Alright, today I'm going to be showing you how to bleed the lifters on a sr20. Basically this is off the car, so this would kind of be similar when it is on the car. So obviously if you have your valve cover, you're going to pop that right off. And then we're going to have to release our tensioner. We're going to have to take these two 10mm bolts right here. Make sure it is at top dead center. This will be the yellow mark at the top dead center line. I would recommend to have your own marks as well. I'm using Bics whiteout pen, so you just make your own marks so that you know nothing has moved when you are messing with your timing. Same thing for the gears. Now, I know your gears are going to have their own marks, so your gears are going to be a little bit different from the ones that are actually on this car versus yours. So basically this cam gear has their mark right here, and I'm going to mark it with the pen. So right here I'm going to mark this with the pen. I'm going to have just the gear itself marked because obviously we're just going to move out the cam gears, or I might just tilt up the cam gears and still leave the gears inside while I just sneak out the lifters. And then we'll just go ahead and mark this, the gear itself, and then same thing for the other side. It is going to be at a different position, so we'll mark this. So basically, if you don't know what top dead center is, I can kind of explain it to you. I gotta mention too, I would recommend you to mark the cam cap. Let's see, and then the back of the cam gear too, so that you know that your own marks are right there. So just in case if anything moves, that you have your own settings, so you don't mess up as you're rotating. You know everything will be top dead center and all the timing marks will be aligned. So it's just as a good reference for your point, so it gives you a good peace of mind. So right here we have our top dead center on our crankshaft. So basically what this means is that our piston is going to be at its highest point and it can't go any further or lower. So we want that to be at its highest point on cylinder number 1. Another way you can find this out, you can look inside the spark plug tube right there. You can look right inside right there. So you want to make sure that it is at its highest point. And then this is the number 2. It's all the way down there. That's number 3. And then this is number 4. So 1 and 4 are going to be at its highest point, and then the 2 and 3 are going to be at bottom dead center. For some of the guys that know about this, you guys can skip through the video. I'm just mentioning as much as I can as possible for other people that might not understand this the first time. So basically, if you do have a lifter that's collapsed, you can either switch them out, bleed them, or this will just help you out for this process. So you'd basically get a 27mm socket, and then you would rotate the crank till you get at your desired top dead center. So this will be one mark right here, and then I believe that's after top dead center, and then we want to be right here at the yellow line. So this will be the second mark from the left. Okay, so do not get that confused. This will be your alignment from the timing cover. And then on your cam gears, they will have their own mark. There will be a little notch. It could be like a little indent. Same thing right here. Right there you can see it. That one has a little indent right there. So you can mark that. You want to mark your own, make your own marks. Once you rotate the crank, these cam gears and the timing chain, they're not gonna align with your marks again. They will eventually, but it will take a while. So we'll know that for sure if you want to be more cautious of this. So again, we're gonna go ahead and start this process. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the tensioner, but before we do that, I am gonna be using a strap to be holding up the chain, because we are going to release the chain and we don't want the chain to fall down. You don't have to do this actually, because the chain on the bottom is actually being held down by the timing cover itself. It has some guides on the bottom, but just because I worked on so many Hondas before, just so used to this habit. So I got this bungee cord all the way up to the top of the garage. So it's not crazy tension, but again, it's there. So we'll go ahead and start off with taking off that. Okay, and before I start this process too, I want you to take a little precaution. If you are going to be doing this motor, if you are doing a rebuild, do not turn your motor upside down, because you will get air in the system. Buddy of mine had to learn that the hard way. But again, so do not take that as a precaution. If you do this step, do not turn it upside down when you try to do the oil pan and all that stuff. Make sure you try to keep it as up as possible. So I'm going to show you how to see which one is collapsed and which one isn't. So you're going to go ahead and push down. So you can see right here, you put your finger right here, push down right there, and then you're going to see if you have any play, and that's how you'll know it's collapsed. You need to make sure that these are locked and that they are not moving at all. So right here, I'm pushing this one down with a lot of force. This one's good, this one's solid. And then as versus this one, see that little wiggle room right there? That's how you know that one is not, that one's collapsed. So I mean, you don't want that to happen. This one's solid. Again, you don't want that to happen. Well, I mean, again, the lobe is pointing down. That's a bad example. Let me try to find something else. So this one, the lobe's barely on it. So you can see that play that's right there. So we don't want that to happen. You want it to be nice and firm, solid. So, okay, we'll go ahead and go back to the process. So I loosened these guys up just a little bit, not too much, but now not a point to where I can take it off. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take these off, 10 millimeter. Again, make sure this is at top dead center. Remember, you are gonna have tension on the tensioner. So as you release it, the tensioner will be coming back. Then you just go ahead and pull back your tensioner. And you can leave the gasket in there, so you don't get it confused. And then when you want to lock your tensioner, so basically as you pull back, it won't go back. So you need to lift up this tab right here, just push that right up, and then push down, and then lift that clip right back up. So the moment when you put this guy right back in and you rotate that crank and you push down, it'll apply tension, and then that will release and it'll drop the pin. Make sure you soak this in oil prior to installation. So now we're gonna go ahead and take off our guide caps. I would recommend to go by your instructions, but the way how I'm going to do it is basically I'm going to kind of loosen my way up. So I'm going to start from the middle and then work my way out. So now that we're at this point, basically you have your exhaust, which would be on the driver's side or on the right side, and then towards the passenger side would be, or I mean left side, I'm sorry. Left side will be the driver's side, and then right side will be the passenger side. The intake will be this side. Don't get it mixed up. You can't. Arrows, they're gonna have arrows. They're gonna be numbered. Basically, starting from this cam cap, it's going to be with the number. Well, actually, this one's not numbered, so bad example. So this one right here, it's going to be number 4. So don't try to get that one mixed up. You want to keep these all in order. Because if you do mix them up, then you're kind of screwed. But not really, because they're numbered. Let's set this in a safe location. Let's see, we'll lift this guy up. Now, this is going to be the fun part. So we'll lift these guys up, the cam, if they want to come up. All right, cool. So we'll let this rotate to the side. We'll kind of move it right over. Just like that. We'll just leave this one right here. Make sure that you do not, since this valve lash has been adjusted to this, to the valves, you don't want to mix these rocker arms. You don't want to mix them all around. So make sure you have them all assembled. Same thing for the lifters too. I mean, in the manual, there's other people, they have different opinions about this, but in my opinion, I would say try to keep each one to their specific cylinder. And we'll do one side at a time. And then when you want to grab these guys, give me 1 second. So when you want to take off the lifters, you would basically get a rag and then put them right over the lifter. And then do not squeeze hard. I'm telling you, do not squeeze hard. They should just come out. You just gently squeeze and then wiggle back and forth. That's how you'll pull this guy out. It's kind of a little bit dirty, but it's kind of a good thing that we're redoing this. I'm going to do this for all the other ones. I'm just going to show you for this. This should not be going up and down. This should be locked. So if you seen it going up and down, and no matter how many times you bleed it and it's still going up and down, that's a bad lifter. So once after you bleed it, then it should be locked. It should not move. As you press it, it should be very hard. So I'll go ahead and show you how to unlock that. Now, I don't know the size for this Allen wrench. I did have an assortment, but to help out, this one's going to be as this hole, and then you're going to kind of get a little feel. So you're going to have to get your own feel for this. So as you put this guy in, you see how right there it's not like all the way centered, but you just get a little wiggle room. Wiggle it around to centered, and you see how it just went down just a tad bit more. Now you know you're on the, it's kind of like a little seal just to unlock it, and just to unlock this if it is if it is unlocked, or if it is locked, sorry about that. And then you just push it, pump it, and then you're gonna see like some oil. This one was just completely just aired out. So now we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oil. Make sure it's submerged like completely and it's not sticking out, and then you're gonna keep pumping it. Now you can flush these out. I want to say like 10 pumps is good enough, but you need to keep pumping until either you get all the debris or all the dirty fluid out, all the remaining old oil. Okay, I pumped out all the air out in this. So as I take it out and I press on this, this should not move at all. So you see how I'm pressing on it? That should not move at all. Exactly. If it moves, that means it's bad. So toss that one out, go get another one from either a different motor or purchase a brand new one. So now I'm gonna go ahead and insert that back in, and I'm gonna repeat the same steps for the other one, and then once I'm gonna put back the motor together, then I'll go ahead and restart the video again. Alright, so I went ahead and installed these guys, but I will show you how to install them once I'm putting it on the intake side. So I just wanted to do this side quick. So now we're gonna go ahead and rotate our cam right over. So these are more of a, not the most aggressive, but I think they're kind of like in the middle for that. So we'll go ahead and keep that, and then we'll rotate it. So remember putting in these cams, and they were literally a pain in the butt to put back in. Oh yeah, but before I do that, let me show you. As I push down, these guys aren't moving at all, so you guys see that. So now we'll go ahead and lift up and kind of rotate our cam just like that. We'll just leave it just like that. So obviously you know how to pull these off, and then we're going to keep these in order. So I'm just going to show you on the installation part. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and install our lifters. So after you bleed them, again, make sure that they are hard. So I already inspected all of them. Now when you're installing these, make sure that these shims don't fall off. I believe on both sides they're going to have them, but on one side they're not going to be on both sides. They're just going to be on one side of the valves for each cylinder. So there is going to be one each on each side. So make sure that they don't fall off. Make your life a lot more harder. And then that's how you'll seat that one in. And I'm going to do the same thing for the rest. Also, another note too, make sure that the lifters are seated in, and you would push down on the top hat of the rocker arm. So make sure that those are seated in. Now we'll go ahead and rotate our cam back. And then for mine, the crank moved a little bit, but I manually moved it with my hand. And then I'll go ahead and seat these guys back in place. Now just bear with me as I try to seat these in. Try to tighten these in by hand, but usually you want to make sure that the cam is sitting down in first. But again, since these are more of aggressive cams, they are going to be a little bit more difficult to install. So just bear with me. Try to push down on both sides, and then just thread in the bolts at the same time. So it'll be nice if you have a second hand. So my crankshaft did move a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and center everything. So this is how much tension you should have play right there. Just a little bit more. Just about right there. That's going to be just a slight little bit of tension. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply my, I'm going to go ahead and put on my tensioner. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and see how everything is from there. We're just going to go ahead and insert this closed. As you're putting this in, this can unlock and then bounce itself right back out. So just be careful you don't hit this the grenade pin. So before you fully pull it in, push it in, make sure you thread it in first. Got that in. So we'll go ahead and take off our bungee cord that's up on top, and then we'll go ahead and rotate it, and now you'll hear it click. So rotate it right back just a tad bit. Okay, now you got your full on tension. Once you rotate it a little bit back, and then you're just gonna go, basically what you want to do is you want to go back so you can release some of the tension right here, and then go forward again. So we'll go in clockwise motion, and then we're going to turn the crankshaft 360 degrees. Or I'm sorry, we're going to do 2 rotations of 360 degrees. So now we're going to go ahead and check our marks, make sure they're at top dead center. I believe it's supposed to be 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Oh, it's supposed to be 10 and 12 for the on the cam gears. And what I mean by the 10 and 12, so this little dial pin right here, this will be at the 12, and then this dial pin will be at the 10 o'clock. So that's how you'll know, 10 or 11 or whatever you want to call it, but I believe it's on the diagram it's supposed to be at 10. So but this is correct. Another way I did forgot to mention what I should have done, my bad, but I will mention to watch the whole video. Mark the back of the cam gears. Disregard these marks. These marks mean nothing, so I know they're kind of off. This is from my buddy of mine when he first got the cylinder head. He didn't kind of, he just wanted to mark his own markings just to make sure and didn't want to mess up anything. But I should have marked these in the back, so that's my fault. But again, everything is top dead center. And another way you can tell is that these cams right here for the cylinder number 1, these guys are supposed to be away from each other. So at right here, you can have your mark right there, and then same thing for right there. And then same thing, because number 4 is going to be going on, I believe it's exhaust or something. Don't mind me on that, but you want these two cams to be facing toward each other, and then the first ones to be opposite of each other. I want to give out a shout out to Mina for letting me use his motor as a video on this. Hope this helped you out on this subject. Comment below, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more upcoming videos. We are going to be using this 240 as a little project. Going to be doing a couple videos on this to help out some of you guys out there that want to have a little fun project. But again, thanks for watching.